Hello, welcome to the Fluffy Cow Studio. I'm Deanna, and I'm glad you decided to pop in today. Today we're working on an easy Christmas project. I know I said I wasn't going to do very many Christmas in Julys, but here I am. Today we're going to do a project that's very easy and it's very cheap to make. I'm going to start with 3 foam dice from the Dollar Tree and two 12-inch green, light green or lime green um, balloons and one red 12-inch balloon. And I'm going to cut the tops off, and then I'm going to stretch that balloon out, and I'm going to stretch it around those dice. Once I get them stretched out, get all the wrinkles, or at least that little bubble on top, then I'm going to take my scissors and clip strips in the excess, and then I'm going to take my glue. E6000 is what I'm using. I think that hot glue would work, especially if it's a medium. It's not a hot glue, because I use E6000, but I didn't dare use it on the balloons or the foam. But I think if it wasn't really hot, I think it would work just fine. So now I'm doing the same thing with the red balloon. And I kind of want these to have a Grinch feel to them. And Grinch is Dr. Seuss, so I kind of want the Dr. Seuss vibe there. And that's kind of what we're going for today. I'm just going to snip some little strips or cuts in there, and then I'm going to glue it and lay each piece down flat and glue it. Now I'm going to take a stencil. If you have a Cricut or if you have stickers you can use, you can do this. Do that. I am tapping it on with just some white acrylic paint, and I'm going to make the word joy. So I'm going to do a J, an O, and a Y. I make sure it's even in the center, and then I'm just tapping. And I'm using a stencil brush or a chip brush, and I'm just tapping it because I didn't want it to bleed out, and it worked just fine. And then I'll put the Y on there too. Later, after this dries, I will go with a black pen, not a marker, but if you want to use a marker, you can. I just used a regular pen and outlined it in black. Now I'm taking a sponge brush, and I'm taking the end of it, the opposite end, and I'm just doing some little dots on there. Now remember, I'm going for a Dr. Seuss feel, and so they don't all have to be perfectly even and, you know, perfect. And right here, I'm just kind of, sometimes on these balloons, the paint kind of globs in one spot, and I'm just kind of moving it around, and then I will go over and do a second, and if I need to, third coat of these, but I think I only did 2 coats. Now on the red, I'm going to do some white dots, and then I'm going to do some more white dots on the green. And then once I get that done, then I will put green dots, and I'm using a spring green on it, and I'm going to put dots on the dice. Then I am going to, when they dry, I'm going to outline them, the dots, and I don't outline them perfectly straight. I do like little dashes and put a little dots in, because if you notice on Dr. Seuss's drawings and things, sometimes he outlines things like that, and so that's kind of what we're going for. However, I didn't show that because I don't know what happened to the film. I was working on it, and I don't know if my film or my camera died, the battery died, or if I ran out of SD card, I don't know, but I went to put this together and it was gone. Okay, when I get them done, I'm going to put them aside. I took a 2x4 that I had laying around and I cut 8.5 inch pieces and I painted them white on the top and the bottom boards. They're going to be painted on 5 sides, a top and the 4 sides. And the bottom is going to be painted on the bottom and 4 sides. And I ended up doing 2.5 coats or 2 coats in just wherever it needed extra coats. This is bright red, and it is apple barrel paint, but you can use chalk paint or you can use whatever color red you prefer. And now if you notice, I'm just going on the edge there of that bottom side because in case you can see, you know, it turns out I don't think that I needed to do it, but I wanted to just in case you could see a little bit into the edge of that. So at least it looked like it was, painted all the way. Like I said, then I set that out to the side and I did the other one. And then after they dried, I went back and did the bottom side of that. And I'm just using a chip brush. I need to get new paint brushes. I realized that when I was painting, I'm like, I need a separate paint set for painting and for crafts. And then I will just paint the other side, this side right here, the top or bottom, whichever, and then I will set it aside. I'm not gonna make you watch me do a second and partial coat. I'm just gonna um, let you see this because I'm pretty sure you guys can paint. I'm 99.9% you can paint. And then I'm going to take some spring green and I'm going to paint this wood. Now I'm just painting all 4 sides and then the edges of the top and the bottom. This one is going to go in the middle, and so it really doesn't need to be painted all on the flat sides. And I think is what I did is I did the sides and one and the top or bottom, whatever, and then after it dried I flipped it over and did the other one. But I don't think I painted all of that. I left that in because I figured you guys would get the idea. Because you're smart people, smarter than me. Okay, now I'm just doing the ends of those boards. And I'm just kind of hit and miss places that I need to do. And then we will, after I do a second coat of this and it dries, then I flip it over and do the other side. But, and then then when I get done, I set it aside and let them dry before I go on to the next step. I don't know what I was doing there. It looked like I had Parkinson's the way my hand was shaking. That's not funny. Parkinson's is not a good thing. They thought my mom had Alzheimer's with Parkinson's, and they said one of the tests you can tell if it's Alzheimer's with Parkinson's or Parkinson's with Alzheimer's, I think is what they call it, is if the medication for Parkinson's disease works when they give it to you, then it is Parkinson's. But if it doesn't work, then it's Alzheimer's. And my mom, the medicine did not work at all. In fact, it caused my mom problems. So we took her off that. And she's the only, I mean, she had this shaky hand forever, for a long, 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 long time. And it never bothered her. It just bothered the doctors. Okay, now I'm going to take these two. Okay, is what these are Dollar Tree beads. I painted two red and I painted two green. And I had some from Dollar Tree that were white. And I will take two of those beads and I will use them as well. But I'm just painting these right now while I'm waiting for the others to dry, those boards to dry. And then after they get good and dry, then we'll put it all together. Okay, here I am taking some wood glue and I'm just going all over, and I am just taking my finger because I'm a slob and I just put it over, and then I'm squishing this down. Then I went and got some clamps to clamp it down with, and I never did use it because by the time I got back from getting the clamps, it was already starting to stick, and I figured it's not it's not like it's going to be thrown around or anything. It's just going to be sitting, so I figured it was okay not to use the clamps. And I'm just kind of wiping that glue along, and then I'm going to decide how I want that board, which board. And my cutting skills isn't all that great sometimes, so the ends, some of them were a little crooked, but you don't notice it, so it's okay. And I'm just holding that down a little bit. Then I think I did end up putting something on it. Now, this right here, I lost the footage for. As you see, the dots on the top, I did add some smaller dots as well, and I outlined them in the thing. I also took a white paint pen and I wrote Jesus on one, others on one, and then yourself with a white paint pen. And I did a few coats on it. And then I took my beads, put them on some jute. I wrapped the jute around about 3 times on the books, and then I threaded jute, my beads through the jute, and then I made a bow just with my fingers. Then I took a tag that I got from Dollar Tree, or it wasn't Dollar Tree, it was Hobby Lobby, and then I kind of dry brushed it with white, and then I glued the sign on it that says, "In that order, you'll always have joy." And that is the theme I try to live by every day. And so I also took some little white uh, foam glitter things and put on the corners of that tag as well as behind to kind of hide the knot and glue thing that I had there. And then I took some very thin green and red paint or ribbon, and I took each one. I think I did the red first and went around the outline, and then I did the green. And I lost all that footage, so I'm sorry. But this is our project for today. Jesus, others, then yourself, in that order, and you'll always have joy. I hope you always have joy. You deserve it. Thank you for popping by. Hit the like and subscribe button, and have a good day. Thank you. Goodbye.